shit. I remember when I was like in high school and shit, I used to listen to really like sad, depressing music, and
Yeah.
I'd be like in my little sad haze. I'd be like, oh, like I feel bad, but like it would feel good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know what the fuck that is. Like, why would somebody want to actually feel bad?
I think it's just like it's really comforting. Like it's just you're very familiar with that feeling,
Yeah.
so you don't really want to change it. You know what I mean? Where it just feels comfortable. I don't know, like to really explain it. It just feels like comfortable at that moment.
Yeah.
Like when you're just like depressed, you don't even want to be happy. You just want to be like more depressed. So you just keep feeding that like sort of emotion with like more sad music. Just kind of like, well, it's like whatever, man. Like then you play like "The Way I Am" by Eminem. Then you're like rocking that mood. You're just like yeah, man.
That's such a teenage thing too. That teenage angst. It's like I wanna carve out my own path. Like I wanna be my own person.
Yeah.
And just fucking like listen to Radiohead. Maybe like you're seeing a girl or like some girl you love, but she just hates your guts, and you're like fuck, like why is it like this? Why is the world like this?
Yeah.
And you're just like a little fucking chode. You just have no idea about anything.
I think like ultimately like what it really comes down to is
like, being a little bitch.
No, like you are being a little bitch, but you feel like you're just so special. You know what I mean? Like, you just feel like you're so special. You're
That's
like,
so
man,
true.
the world's like against me, man. Like I have to like fucking, like it just. I think it just like makes you like feel like very unique. Like nobody's going through this stuff. Like it's all on me, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you hear somebody and they're talking about how much life sucks, and you just resonate with that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like fuck yeah. I love this. I love this.
I love this.
No one understands me.
On the surface level, man, like I hate this shit, but deep down, I really like it, man. I think that's like what it just like really comes down to, man. It's just making you feel so unique, man. To be honest with you, it really is. It's not that unique. That's why like we're laughing about it, because like it's kind of universal. It's like yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've all been there before.
Yeah, you're just like being kind of like a little bitch about it.
The unique thing too is true. I remember when I was like, so this is pretty funny actually. When I first moved to Toronto, so anybody who's like moved to a big city, they have to go through that kind of like transition period. And so one of the big things is you need to get used to being like a complete random like anonymous person in some ways. Like you're not really special. Nobody really knows who you are, and so you have to continually kind of come to acceptance with that. Like, okay, I think that I'm super super special, but in reality, nobody really knows who the fuck I am, right?
Yeah.
So I remember like, funny thing, like what I used to do is I'd like, when I first moved to Toronto, I used to walk around downtown, and I'd be walking around like in my own like world. And then I'd pass by people, and I would look them in the eye and make eye contact, and I'd like smile or something, and they wouldn't smile back, and I was like, why are they not smiling back? I'm fucking special, they're not smiling back at me. What the fuck's wrong with these people? And then I used to just like go through and like look at every single person in the eye, and nobody would look up at me, and I'm like, yo, fuck these people, man. These motherfuckers, they don't look at me, they don't smile at me. And then I go to the go bus, and I'd walk the whole way. I go on the go bus, and then nobody on the go bus would be friendly to me, and I'd be like, "What's up with these people, man?
Yeah.
Why is nobody nice to me?" And it was just like, it's like, dude, you're expecting people to acknowledge you, or you're expecting people to think that you're special, just because it's in your head, right? And what you really need to realize is that nobody knows who the fuck you are. Nobody really knows who you are, and it's up to you to be okay with that and to realize that. So it was a funny little thing. I mean, obviously now you're not going to see me walking down the street and looking at people in the eye trying to get a reaction.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you think that people would do that to you when you're young and you're naive. You think that you're special. When in reality, you do have to kind of prove yourself in some ways, especially as a man coming up. So what do you think about like the fact that guys need to kind of come into their own at a certain point in time? Because I feel like, and it's just me, I feel like for a guy, it's a little bit different, because when you reach a certain age, it's like, okay, you're a boy turning into a man, and one of the properties of being a man is that you could literally die, right? You could die. You could go to war, you can get killed, and nobody would really care that much. You know, something could happen to you. You can get into an accident. You can go to jail. Whatever. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Nobody really gives a shit about you, in the same way that you would expect them to feel for a girl or like a woman, where there's a lot of sympathy for somebody going through a tough time. For a man, it's very different. So like, how do you come into that as a boy growing into a man?
Okay, I'm gonna answer it in like a way I think you're asking. The reason why I think that girls get more sympathy than guys, because as a guy, like when you grow up, a lot of people are kind of like, man up. Don't be a pussy. Don't be this. Don't be that. Man up. Take care of your shit. Where you're a girl, you're just kind of like, pretty much do whatever you want. You're not looked at to have a tough skin. Like a woman that does not have tough skin isn't like looked at as like a weak girl or like fucking useless. Just like that's just a woman. When you're growing up as a guy, there's a different standard than if you grow up as like a woman, like womanhood. Womanhood is not like, you have to be tough. You never hear like woman up or girl up or like, you know what I mean? Like man up. So with us, growing up as, it's like kind of, in a way, like you're just like in this concrete fucking jungle, and you're just kind of like, yo, you have to like, it's either do or die, motherfucker. If you're not going to be successful, too bad for you. You're just going to be weeded out. You're going to be a fucking loser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like no one's going to do it for you. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to do it for you. And I'm completely cool with that at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're the same way. If somebody comes up to you, they're like, Mars, nobody's going to do it for you. You're your own fucking man. You're going to be like, yeah, of course. Like, I've known that for the past 2-3 years, maybe even longer. I know that it's up to me, and nobody really cares. Ultimately, nobody really gives a shit. It's up to you to have those personal standards and to forge out that path for yourself. That's a big thing, right, for a young dude. I think that's really kind of what's lacking. And that really, like, if you don't learn that lesson early on in your teenage years, like when you're young coming up, if you don't expect that to happen, like if you don't have a lot of male role models kind of telling you that's what's going to happen when you get older, no matter what, it's gonna somehow find its way into your consciousness, right? Whether that be through you accepting it or you having to go through the hard way, having to figure out the hard way that, oh shit, things are gonna fucking, go good, go bad for me, no matter what I do, and really it's up to me to make those decisions about how I want my life to go.